thorough newspaper analysis, which is presented to you by Losico. So, today we'll discuss important articles from the newspaper of 12th August 2021. We have two important articles of the day. The first article is titled as An Urban Job Safety Net. It is written by Rajneesh, who is Principal Secretary to Urban Development, Government of Himachal Pradesh. In this article from The Hindu, he has spoken about urban livelihood. And also, we have a second article which is titled as Getting Back on Track. This article is written by Sarabjit Arjun Singh, who was the former general manager of Indian Railway. This article is from the Indian Express. It talks about the problem in the Indian railway system. This newspaper analysis is presented to you by me. My name is Ankita Parida. I am manager to social media outreach and free content team. Also a current affair expert with Lawseco. You can reach out to me at my LinkedIn or Twitter handle, which is mentioned here. So moving to the MCQ question of the day. Your question is, when is World Lion Day celebrated? Your options are option A, 10th August, option B, 12th August, option C, 5th September, option D, 11th August. You can write your answer in the comment section. Moving to the descriptive question of the day. Why Indian Railways fail to attract private players to run trains? Analyze. You can write your answers in 250 to 300 words. So, moving to the first article of the day, it talks about National Urban Livelihood Scheme. So, the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy has stated that the Indian unemployment rate has peaked to 23.5% and that is 6 and it has plumbed to 6.8% in April 2021. It was 23.5% in April 2020. As we know, we are going through the pandemic and the economy has shrunk to a great extent such that India is having a economic shrunk, that is GDP shrunk of 8%, and the global economic shrunk is almost 3%, and these are taking into accounts the countries like US, Brazil, Japan, Canada, and many other nations. However, at the same time, China is posting a growth rate of 2.3%. With all this, we are seeing that India has peaked in the unemployment rate during this time of pandemic, and many people we have seen during this pandemic have been migrating, leaving their jobs and livelihood in the urban areas to the rural areas. In the rural areas, there have been some kind of facility by the government, and the Manrega scheme is taking care of the regular employment thing in the rural areas. However, this is not the case in the urban area, and therefore, this article stresses on how the government should stress on different ways, taking into account the different scenario in rural area and different kind of scenario in urban area. So let's see what is the main difference in rural and urban livelihood system. The first is there is an economic shock, and that is to essentially people in the formal access to the livelihood safety net in the urban areas. So many companies, many industries have shut down in the urban areas, and this has given a very hard economic shock to the people in the urban areas, thereby depriving them from the safety net and their livelihood in this pandemic. The second thing is the livelihood safety net must have a comprehensive coverage, which is not present in the urban areas as of now. So, such a safety net provided by the Manrega scheme or the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme is definitely there in the rural areas, and this type of similar initiative can also be taken up by the government in the urban areas too. Though today we have the self employment through skill upgradation and credit linkage through banks in the urban scenario today with the Skill India program of Government of India. However, it does not guarantee any kind of employment, and this is the reason why the urban and rural migration took place during the lockdown time. Looking at this scenario, see that we can see that the Himachal Pradesh government has taken very good initiative in order to recover from this situation in the urban area. It has launched the Mukhya Mantri Shashri Ajivika Guarantee Yojana, which is based on urban area, and based on this 120 days of guarantee wage employment to every household with a minimum wage is given. And in this, an adult member who is with the age of less than 65 years can participate, and who is residing in the jurisdiction of the urban local body network can take part in this. The job card within 7 days of registration and employment is registered by the government of Himachal Pradesh, and it is provided, and it has been benefiting presently 3% of household of Himachal Pradesh. Taking an insight from the Himachal Pradesh government new scheme on this, the government of India can also work on this similar lines and get inspiration from this thing, and also help the present fiscal space in order to have urban development. Moving to our second article of the day. In this article, the author has discussed about the privatizing Indian Railways, why Indian Railways have failed to attract private players to run trains. This is an article written by Sarabjit Arjan Singh, and he writes that the Indian Railway wants to capital and technology without giving up control, while the concessionaires want a far more equal relationship. So, last year, Indian Railway launched the formal process of inviting private parties to run trains, and out of 12 clusters, it just got bid for only 3 clusters, of which only one serious big wave was IRCTC, which is again a state run company. And this company has only given its serious intention to and has showed serious intention to buy any kind of uh, uh, this kind of initiative which has been taken by government of India. So what are the risks and constraints in this situation, and what are the reasons for this failure, why why the private sector is not willing to buy this? So let's discuss about it. First thing is, there is lack of alignment of interest of Indian Railways and concessionaires. So the central issue is the alignment of three interests, that is, India needs to be capable of designing and manufacturing state of art rolling stock. The second thing is, Indian Railways need for a private capital participation, and third thing is private capital necessity of earning profit. So these things are the main central issue. However, the also alignment issue is there, that the Indian Railway wants capital and technology without giving up control. As we know, if the private sector takes part in this purchase, it will bring about capital and technology to the railway sector. However, it will also take away control from the government of India. But the Indian Railway does not want to give away with the control. It wants to keep the control with itself and wants to gain from the capital and technology of the private sector. However, it is becoming an unequal relationship, and it is not showing any kind of profit to the private sector, because of which they are not willing to just be a moderator in this case. Also, Indian Railway has imposed constraints that prevent efficient decision and adopts a design that does not consider associated risk. So this is again a situation in which sufficient constraint has been put by the Indian government through the Indian Railways, and this does not allow for efficient decision making by the private sector. So if the management cannot or do not have the authority to make decisions efficiently, then it won't make any profit in the way. And that is the main reason why privatization of Indian Railways is not being successful through the bid system which has been initiated by the government of India. Now let's talk about what are the risks and constraints involved with the private players in purchasing the Indian railway sector. So first is the lumpiness of investment before making profit. So when a private sector is coming into the play, he or she has to put in lot of money in order to buy a railway sector or a train. And that, as we know, Indian Railways have been making cross subsidization, and it has been making many losses in the past, and these losses will also get into the books of the private player. However, these there is no guarantee of compensation for these kind of thing, and also there is no authority to make efficient decisions. So the lumpness of investment before making profit is one of the key hurdle here in purchasing of trains and predicting traffic consideration competition from airlines. So if the private player is willing to buy, then at least it should be competitive. It should be competitive with airline network of India at least, so that people consider to go by trains. They feel that it is quite good enough to go by train as well. But if it is not competitive, it might not run very well. So the second thing is that Indian Railway does not guarantee buying back the trains if they fail. So these are the total number of constraints and the things which are in front of the private sector. However, the again the another constraint here is that the Indian Railway does not guarantee buying back the trains if they fail. First of all, these are controlled by the Indian Railways, and then the regulator or the moderator has to be by the private sector. And if someone is putting so much of money and putting so much of investment, then if they are not guaranteed or they are not getting any cushion from the Indian Railways, there is again an adverse attitude towards buying the Indian railway sector because of this. And also, the third thing is there is an absence of regulator for resolving disputes. As we know, is Indian Railway is a huge sector, and it is one of the biggest network of the world of railways after US. So in this kind of huge setup, there needs to be a resolving dispute mechanism or a tribunal to address these kind of issues, because we do not have a separate dispute resolution mechanism for that. This is again an impediment in the path of privatization. So, if you are interested to hear the podcast of this newspaper analysis, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor, and Google Podcast. You can get the link to podcast of this in the description box of this video, and you can listen to our podcast regularly from there. Also, for free study materials and TNA PDF slide, please join our Telegram channel. You can scan the code from here and join right away. Also, you can get the link to the Telegram channel in the description box. Also, you can follow us on our Insta pages, that is lawseco.judiciary, lawseco clat prep, and UGCnet lawseco. So this was all for today. Thank you.